Hey, good evening, welcome. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. I've been looking at some incredible sights today. First of all, we had some trouble with the truck and we had to take it in. It was in all yesterday and part of this morning. We got it back this afternoon, and so we were able to do our part in delivering some gifts which came in the Balikbayan boxes that we had. And so let me see, we took special gifts from the karate family, and in a way this video is almost especially for them, because I know that they are looking at these videos as a family, and a great deal of time went into the 2 boxes that they sent from West Bromwich in the UK. So they are fellow Brits, and so because they're from, well, that's really the Midlands, not quite so much the north, which is where I'm from. Well, I actually wonder, I know that you spent a terrific amount of time putting those gifts together, and I know that you took very careful note of some of the videos that we've shown, which show people and give their names. And boy, you took notice, because your gifts came in a very special way, because you actually addressed the box that related to one particular person to that person. And what this did was it relieved us of having to try to sort out and work out who would get what and how we could best give a home to some of the gifts that were sent. That's not such a bad chore, okay, and we don't complain about that because it's so rewarding. But when we get a gift box within a box, then it takes on a totally different, what can we say? It's just a different thing altogether. And if you were all watching this as a family now, I know that what I do remember, we get so many different communications. We're now up very close in what could be just a few minutes or an hour or so, we'll be at 34,000 subscribers. So it's getting difficult to keep track. But what I do remember is that you asked to be spoken of, referred to, acknowledged as the karate family. And so I'm assuming from that you're watching this as a family. But even though this is speaking directly to the family of the karate family, it still applies to anybody that sent a box, because there's something about sending a box, there's something about Filipinos receiving a box that is it's almost magical. Now, with most of the gifts that you sent, karate family, you sent gifts, and with the exception of the one gift that you sent, which was for Boyet, which I will discuss in a moment and tell you about that, my impressions, you sent them for the Crying Ladies family, and that was the daughter, a little girl that's lost all of her teeth across the front and still manages to give a magical smile, and her brother. Now when you watch that video, please go back and watch that video again and look at it with my eyes, because in the West you give a gift to someone, and if it amazes and surprises and pleases the person, then they show it, they express it. Wow, I always wanted this. It's kind of like that, and you've got to change that expectation, especially if your kids you kids are looking at me talking now, because I watched the expressions on the faces of the crying lady and her two children. And if you don't really know the meaning of overwhelm, go and look it up in the dictionary, because the crying lady, I focused deliberately on her face. She was completely overwhelmed. She just didn't know how to process that anybody, never mind somebody in a foreign country thousands of miles away, who didn't even know her and probably will never meet her, could spend so much time, and to her, immeasurable money, because all of what she saw would cost more than she could ever hope to spend. And she was completely overwhelmed and unable to process what she was looking at. And Angeline, the little girl, now she was more fluid in expressing what she felt. And she laughed and she smiled and she looked delighted. But she was still overwhelmed. Now, how about her brother? Have a look at the video and notice that when everything's over, we're all looking away and the attention is off him, he sits there and just doesn't know what to do. He's overloaded with all of your incredible gifts and he doesn't know what to do. Why? Because this is a little boy that's living in a tiny house, miles away from everywhere, as I showed you, where he has to walk everywhere, has to walk to school, he has to go and walk and get water. There's no power, no running water, no power, an outside CR, and that would be probably a fancy way of describing it. And he's probably never had one gift, because very poor people in the Philippines, I was unsure about this until I spoke to Beth, and I spoke to Beth and I asked her in particular, don't you share videos? Don't you share gifts? Don't you exchange gifts? So she said, yes, at the church. So at the church they have a ritual where they give some very tiny little gift. They all put their names into the hat. The names are taken out random and then they are hooked up. They take two names, put them together, and then they exchange them, however they do it. And then whoever gets the name of someone, they have to give them a gift. So it's not anything like the way that probably you kids are going to have this Christmas or your birthdays, where you get personally addressed with a card and a wrapper, and you get to unwrap it and you get to take it out of the box, and then you go on to the next gift. It's totally different for a poor kid living in a dirt family, a dirt floor in the house, probably a leaky roof, and conditions that you can only imagine. And then imagine this, they get a big box that is opened for them, and gift after gift after gift after gift comes out of that box, and it's all for them. I don't know how they process that, do you? T-shirts and a wristwatch. Do you know the likelihood of that boy ever having a wristwatch? So, It's a hugely emotional thing for me to watch this happening, and I understand how those kids feel. So that was the family of the crying lady, and she was overwhelmed. And when it was all over and the pressure was off her as she watched everything happening to herself and her children, she came over and hugged me and thanked me, and she hugged and thanked Beth. Did you watch also how we gave the twins their gifts? Now, they weren't quite so overwhelmed. They did show some delight, but the mother didn't know how to react. Not out of ingratitude, which some people, without thinking, have thought was the case. No. They will look at those gifts in astonishment now, and they'll go over them, and they will appreciate every single one, and they will try to hold in their minds, who could possibly have done that for them without even knowing them? So they were all a great success as well. And then, if you watch the video, we deliberately showed how all of the kids got together and carried the parcels for the crying lady and her family. And Tag. Now, watch Tag. Did he know what to make of it all? No. Did he know what to make out of being given 2 wristwatches? I don't think so. And I don't think that even now it will have actually dawned on him what's happened. But he will get a great deal of pleasure. Now, on to the last gift which we gave away, which was Boyet. Well, Boyet is a little boy who has only one eye, and his other eye is blanked out, and the dark part, the iris, is off and not functioning. So he's blind in one eye. He's the blind boy, half blind. And he was just astonished. But Boyet, you said, handsome Boyet, and he had an audience of little girls, and those little girls are my favorite kids that I take every Sunday. Tomorrow I will go to that little community in my truck, and I'll pick up more kids than should ever go into my truck, and I will drive very, very carefully and slowly, and I'll take them to church. And those particular kids are Baby Jane and Gretchen and several others, and I have the great privilege of having them sing to me, because they love to drive in the truck, better in the Big Blue, which is out of commission at the moment, but even so they will cram into the little red truck, and they will beg me to take them to pick up other people. So I end up taking 6 or 7 kids that are taking up the place of 6 or 7 kids, and I do it happily. Well, they were all there, and not one of them, not one of the other kids got a gift. Not one of them. But watch the video. They were just so happy for Boyet. And I thought it was funny that the thing that made them peal with laughter was a pair of sunglasses. And all of those things that you gave, it was a pair of sunglasses. And Beth put them on Boyet to make him look very cool. And all of the little girls around the age of 6, maybe 7, just loved it for Boyet. Now, think of how many kids you know that would be happy to watch one of their friends be spoiled to death by receiving a box full of gifts. And no doubt he will share some of those things with his friends, because they're all family. They're not all brothers and sisters, but they're family. So I should thank you for giving me that great emotional trip, because it was just magical to watch Boyet smile. Now there's a boy with $1 million smile, and he gave it for you. So thank you for that. Thank you for sending the box with all of those things, and we will be giving out and making that all felt in the community, and that will be a marvelous trip as well. And you'll see that because, well, we're just delivery boys, aren't we? We're not asking for any money, which we're not allowed to do right now. Not that we ever ask for money. We tell you, if you are interested in a particular project, then you can send a gift, and your gift in total will go to that project. But there is no project to do that right now, because we're waiting for our non-profit, non-stock, non-profit application to be approved, which we're hoping will be next week. So until then, we are just delivery boys, and we are very happy to deliver all of those gifts as you have instructed. Okay? Thank you very much, Karate family. And also, I have to thank John S. Now, John S. sent a box which had incredible gifts, and they were all received by the people that they were designated for. I thank you for sending those wonderful boots which you sent for me, which fit perfectly and which are, well, just incredible. Thank you so much, John. We look forward to when you come and see us again. John, for those who don't know, John came and stayed with us, and came around and actually took part in giveaways and stuff like that, and helping and just being at the projects that we went to visit. So, John, thank you so much. You are warmly remembered for your time that you spent with us. Thank you, thank you. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe. We are now heading for 34,000, which will happen in the next, probably the next hour or so. So, thank you. Without your support, we would be nothing. You are the heroes. You are the ones who empower us to do what we do. And we are very grateful for that privilege. Bye for now.